Ahoy hoy everyone, welcome to another episode of the O Show. I'm O and I'm here for your amusement. Okay you guys, so I don't know when I'm going to release this video, but it is a Monday night in Chicago. It snowed earlier, it's gross outside. So I was like, there's nothing on TV right now, let me just curl up and watch a movie, right? And so I keep seeing this movie, The Juror. The Juror number 2, right? Or Juror number 2. There's no the. But it's been on Max all up in my face for a bit. So I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and watch this movie. Because I remember hearing somewhere it was like really good. And that's all I heard. So I was like, okay, let me just see what's happening, you guys. And this movie is so good. I'm so mad that it took me a while to watch it. So this is a 2024 release. And I didn't realize it was in the theater. But okay, wait. So I don't even remember it being advertised as being in the theater. But then again, I guess it wasn't in a lot of theaters. So that's weird. But whatever. Like I said, it's streaming currently on Max. And you guys are so good. Okay, so I was debating if I wanted to do a spoiler-free review or spoil it. But I don't like spoiler-free. I hate playing that game. But I really, really do recommend watching this movie before you watch this video. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Okay, make up your mind. If you're still here, that's on you. Okay? Okay, you guys, so look. Okay, so there's this guy, right? So his name is Justin Kemp. He's played by Nicholas Hoult, who you may... You know, the only thing I could think of that he was in is he was the young version of Beast. Is his name Beast or Beastman? Beastman sounds weird. I'm going to say Beast from the X-Men movies. But, yeah, he's in a whole bunch of stuff. And so he has this wife, and they are expecting a child soon, right? So I guess they tried to have a baby before. Apparently they had twins about to be born, but I guess the mom miscarried, so they're trying again. So she's having this very, very intense pregnancy, right? So he gets summoned for jury duty, right? Ugh. And she's like, well, you better go tell them you hate America or something. But she's like, no, just tell them anything, get out of it. But he tells them hey, my wife is at home, but they're like, we don't care. Bam, you're picked. Damn it. So he gets picked by the judge and the lawyers for this trial. Okay, so there is this murder trial going on, you guys. Okay, so you got this guy. His name is James Scythe, and he's played by Gabriel Basso. And his girlfriend is a woman named Kendall Carter, who's played by Francesca Eastwood, who is Clint Eastwood's daughter. And Clint Eastwood directed this movie. Okay, so one night on October 25th, there is this bar called Rowdy's. And Scythe and his girlfriend are in there, and they're lovey-dovey at one point, but then in another part of the night, they are fighting, there's beer bottles being broken, and she gets pissed off and storms out, right? So, of course, everyone's looking ooh, drama. So, it's a dark and stormy night. They go outside the bar, and people just not minding their own business. There's a lady who's filming them and everything, because you can't go nowhere now without someone videotaping you. So, they're fighting in the parking lot, and then she storms off, right? And so he's like, God damn it. So he goes after her for a little bit, but then he's like, fuck her. I'm going home. Because she does this all the time, and in the morning it'll be fine, right? So he gets into his car, and he goes home, right? Okay, so Justin is also at that bar. Now, I do kind of like the way they introduced this scenario, because when you're in court and the lawyers are going over what happened on the night of questioning murder, they show the scene being played out at the bar, and then you see Justin in there. So you're just oh, maybe that's just Justin envisioning what's happening at the bar. No, y'all. No. He was there. So as he keeps hearing the date, the location, the people, and what was happening. He was like, oh shit, like, I was there. I know exactly like what was happening. So, Justin is an alcoholic, and he's a recovering alcoholic. And when his wife miscarried the twins, he went to the bar to have a drink, but he didn't have a drink. He bought one, and then he played with it, and then he was like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna go home, right? So on his way home, he hit something in the road, and he gets out and looks around, but he doesn't see anything. And then he sees this sign that says deer crossing. And he's like, oh, okay, well, that's what it was. Like, he even looks over like this like railing, but it's super dark at the bottom because he's on a bridge. There's a bridge going over like a creek, and he can't see below. So he's like, darn deer. Gets into his car, goes home. Well, guess what, child? That's not a deer, okay? Because the body of Kendall was found in that creek like a couple days after that night, or well, the next day or something. But the boyfriend was arrested 2 days after that night. And so this guy is sitting in the courtroom like, holy shit, like, that was me. Boom! That's the gag, y'all. So now it's just the whole movie is just him thinking like, okay, now hold on. This guy's being framed for murder. I guess you can't say framed, but he's being accused of murder. And Toni Collette is the prosecutor for the state of Georgia. Now, I was just praising Toni Collette in my recent video, Krampus, right? Because I love me some Toni Collette. And I really, really do love her in this movie. However, y'all, can I just say, this is taking place in Georgia, so she has like this southern accent. And like sometimes she has it and sometimes she doesn't. Now, I'm going to let that slide because I love her so much. But if it was anyone else, I'd be like, hell to the no. So, pretty much with the trial, it's kind of like cut and dry. They're like, okay, now here's the evidence, here's this. And they got their witnesses and people on the stand. And so now it's time for the jurors to deliberate. And, yeah, everyone's like, he's guilty. Lock his ass up. Now, there's actually some good people on this jury, you guys. So, Cedric Yarbrough, he's on there. J.K. Simmons is a juror. Leslie Bibb and Adrienne Moore. And I kept looking at Adrienne Moore, and I was like, I know this lady. And she was Cindy on Orange is the New Black. Now, I didn't realize J.K. Simmons was in this movie, and there was just times when he's just sitting on the jury. Why I keep saying juror? And he just was just sitting there. I was like, okay, you know what? I know they just don't have this man sitting on this jury not saying anything. Like, he is going to blow up somewhere, somehow. So, yeah, now he didn't say guilty when they first sat down before they started talking it out. He was just like, you know, I forgot what he said. He said something, but he never said guilty. He was just like, you know, I don't know, throw the book at him or something. I don't know. But there's only one person that says not guilty because everyone just wants to go home. And it's Justin. And Justin's like, come on, you guys. And I even thought this too because listening to the trial. Now, I'm just watching all this murder porn stuff on TV, you guys. Not really porn, but, you know, the murder shows. That murder porn is a joke from South Park, if you know.
Tonight at 10, it's a tale of lust, seduction, and murder on Sexy Betrayal. Then at 7.
But I am, like, obsessed now with murder shows. Like, I look out my window and see people mowing their lawn and be like, what are they up to? What are they trying to cover up with that freshly cut grass? Like, I can't. But even me, like, listening to the movie, I'm like, well, they never said this. And were there other suspects? Like, they never, like, interviewed anyone else? Were there tire tracks? Like, there's just all this stuff. I'm thinking now, like, I didn't hear that from the lawyers. And so now that's what Justin's doing. Justin knowing now, like, oh, shit, like, I'm the killer. But he was like, I don't want this guy to go to jail, so maybe I could just get this jury to think about it and let him go. And then, you know what, he'll go, he'll be free, and then no one else will have to think about this case ever again. But of course, that's not what's happening. You still got people who are divided. You got people who are like, no, I think he is guilty. Especially Cedric's character. Like, he 100% of this whole movie is like, I don't care what anyone says. I know what kind of man this guy is. He used to be like a drug dealer or whatever. He has this big tattoo, and I know what they do. Like, at the end of the day, of any day, he will be guilty to me. Another character in this movie is played by Kiefer Sutherland. And he is like the head of this Alcoholic Anonymous group that Justin is attending. So him and Justin, I guess, are like close in the group. So Justin tells him one day, because Kiefer is also a lawyer. He's an attorney. And so he's like, I gotta talk to you. And he was like, well, give me $1. If you give me the $1, now we can have this confidential like conversation about whatever the fuck you about to tell me. And so he tells him, he's like, look, this is what happened. This night I hit this, and da-da-da, and now I'm at this trial, and it was on that night, da-da-da, and I think it's me. So Kiefer's like, well, here's the thing. Like, there needs to be a verdict. There needs to either be a guilty verdict or a not guilty verdict. Because if it's a hung jury, another trial could go. Or they would be like, okay, well, you know what? We're going to really look for the killer after that. And, oh my gosh. This is so good. And by the way, and J.K. Simmons, yes, he does his thing. And he ends up being this retired detective. And they're like, well, how are you a detective on this damn case? And he was like, well, they didn't ask me during the process of selecting jurors, so that's on them. But he even says, too, like, you know, just me sitting there, like, because again, he never said guilty. He was just like, whatever he said at the beginning when they first took a vote. But he was like, there is something that's not right about this. So he even starts doing his own digging. Like, he has connections with his old, like, folks he used to work with. And they got a list of all the cars that got, like, body work done around this time frame. And guess whose car shows up on that list, y'all? Justin's. But the car is under his wife. So when they found out that JK's character did that, he was giving some paperwork to Justin. The judge dismissed JK and he kept Justin. So now that information got entered into like evidence. So Toni Collette's character is walking around to all these places to see like, hey, you had a damage on your car. Like, what was it from and where was it at? And so she actually does end up going to Justin and his wife's house and has the interview with the wife. And apparently she does come clean and tells Toni Collette's character, like, yeah, my husband Justin was on, he hit a deer, but he did it on this road. So Justin automatically never said what road was actually on. So then the wife starts putting two and two together and confronts him, and he was just like, okay, now she's like, okay, bullshit, motherfucker. She would have turned his ass in. But then, at the end of the movie, when it comes to sentencing, like I said, Cedric's character was going to say no either way, so Justin gives in, and the jury comes to a decision. They find the boyfriend guilty. So he's going away for life, okay, which fucking sucks. But, at the end of the day, Justin was like, well, it sucks. I'm going to have to live with that, but... Now, Toni Collette's character, who is the prosecutor, she is actually running for general attorney. And if she wins this case, it's like, congratulations, girl, you can have the job. So she gets it. And now that she put two and two together at the end, even confronting Justin, whose ass showed up at the sentencing because he wanted to, I guess, follow this whole thing through, she's like, why is this juror here? And then she realizes that the conversation she had with the wife is this dude. And he was like, well, I don't know if you want to be destroying all these people's lives and this and that. But once she became the GA, or the DA, district attorney. Did I say general attorney? She's a district attorney, right? Yeah, so anyway, when she became the DA, I guess her first mission was to throw this guy under the jail cell. So she showed up at their door, knocked, and he opened the door and knew exactly what she was standing there for. And then the movie ends. Oh my God, so good, you guys. I enjoyed myself. I really, really did. I really do enjoy like Clint Eastwood movies. I don't remember the last one I saw, but I don't know, sometimes they're like super great, and then sometimes you're like, what the hell was that? This one's really good. This is really good. Oh my god, I remember like the last time I got picked to be on the jury, it was so boring. It was some hit and run. Well, I guess it was a hit and kind of a run. They knew who did it. I remember I was falling asleep in court. Every time I would go to karaoke on like a Wednesday night, and then one day I don't know what day it was. I think I was there for like 4 days. It was 4 days for the most boring trial. But like the next day I went there and I was so tired and I kept falling asleep, and every time I woke up, like the judge was looking right at me. Like I just knew he was gonna throw the book at me and find me in contempt of sleep. But have you guys seen Juror number 2? I did recommend it. It was really, really good. Have you ever served in a jury? Did you have a crazy experience? I remember one day was a waste of time because one of the sides spoke Spanish and they didn't have no translator. So they were like, okay, you guys can go home and come back tomorrow. I'm like, ain't this a bitch? I don't get my $17 or $14. How much was it back in 2000 something? Hey guys, I'm going to give Juror number 2 4 shots. Okay, because I thought it was really good. Okay, so cheers. Ooh, wow, oh my god. Okay, let me know your thoughts on all that junk in the comments. And please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. So until then, TTFN.